Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. Well, I've got quite a few requests to talk about the story of Ahmad Aubry, the young man who was jogging and literally hunted down and his life taken, and it was all caught on camera. That's the part of the story that I want to focus on the most because something very strange about this whole story. We see that the young man was jogging and he was pursued by two white men, and they decided to take the law into their own hands. Of course, we know one is former law enforcement, and then it was his son. And because the officials of the area and neighboring areas knew that the dad was former law enforcement, they kind of didn't want to deal with the case. And so already we see that there is a system that protects certain citizens. With this case, I'm just going to be quite honest with you. Right away when I saw the video, it's the same thing that we've been seeing for a very long time. And there's always this rush to try to paint a picture of the victim's life, lifestyle, background, just things that don't even matter in terms of why he was being pursued. Now, anyone else just jogging through a neighborhood, practicing social distancing, just going about their business, nothing in his hands, no confrontation with anyone, no anything, just jogging, exercising like many people do, like Brad and Becky do all of the time. No one's going to bother them. No one's going to approach them and say, "What are you doing in the neighborhood?" This young man, Ahmad Aubry, minding his own business, lost his life. And they were already trying to say self-defense. And see, that's the thing. Here in this country, we already know that there are two sets of rules. You know, there is a whole comparison, and I might talk about this later in a separate video. I may or I may not, but they were showing the difference in how NYPD deals with black people who are out and about and white people who are out and about. How they went to the white people and they started handing out masks and telling them to be careful. But the black people, you all know what happened. There was no care and concern, no handing out of masks, no brotherly love, letting brotherly love continue. Total opposite. It was kicking and beating and punching and all of this other stuff. And so back to the case of Ahmad Aubry, this young man jogging through the neighborhood, loses his life because two men decided that they had a right to pursue him because he was jogging through the neighborhood. They hunted him down like in the good old days, as they call it. You know how they used to go in their pickup trucks and they would pursue black people. Now, if this is making anyone uncomfortable with me talking about this, this was the reality of our people. And we're tired of you all acting so fragile, as if us talking about our experience here in this country is worse than the experience is itself. That is a reprobate mind when you think that us talking about our reality as a people is worse than what those two men did to Ahmad Aubry. You got to know that there is something wrong with your mind if you think that us talking about the horrible experiences of our people in this country is worse, and that it somehow makes things worse. I've had many of you say that to me, that I'm the problem. Because I talk about these things, I'm the problem. I'm the one who helps keep these things going. And you say that to many others who look just like me as well, that we are the reasons why these things continue to go on in this country. As if someone hears our video and says, I'm going to go and hunt down a black person. No, we talk about the black person being hunted down. We talk about something that happens. And then you all get upset about us talking about what happened. If you don't understand that there is something psychologically wrong, something spiritually wrong with you, then you are the problem. But what I wanted to say about this young man is I found it kind of strange, and I wonder if anyone else is talking about this. I haven't listened to a whole lot of people's commentary on this, but in following the details of the story on my own, the one thing that just kind of struck me was the fact that this was all so clearly caught on camera. A lot of other incidents dealing with our people was so clearly caught on camera. It kind of makes me wonder if these things are indeed set up and staged to get some type of reaction out of us. What I mean by that is, we know that the young man is gone. We know that they took his life. But how convenient in this case and other cases like it, to where there was a camera rolling and they allow the camera to get out very quickly. The camera is released, the video footage, should I say, almost as if they are feeding this into the media to get some type of response. I feel like, I don't just feel like it, but I know it. We are all on a stage playing out our roles. And the role that they are playing right now are provocateurs. The fact that this was all caught on camera, and we all were able to see it so quickly after it happened, and we hear the same old thing, oh, we were defending ourselves, self-defense. So that basically tells us that someone could start something with you, as in the case of Trayvon Martin. They can pursue you, threaten you. You can feel threatened yourself. But if you so much as turn around to defend yourself against this person who sought after and pursued you, they can then say that it was self-defense. So you can start something. Is that what you all are trying to tell us? I need someone from that side of the fence to clarify for us. Is that what you're trying to tell us, that that's permissible? That someone could just pursue a perfectly innocent person who's doing nothing, just walking or living or breathing or jogging, driving, cutting grass, selling water, whatever it is, that someone can approach you, antagonize you, provoke you, and when you try to defend yourself because you're afraid of what they're up to, are you telling us that it's okay that the pursuer can go ahead and end your life? Can someone please clarify that for us, please, so that we know what we're dealing with? Although we already know, because we've seen this same story played out so many times. But again, that's what my biggest thing was with this whole thing, is how conveniently everything, all of these angles of this were on camera. How in the world did this happen? Was this planned? Seeking whom they may devour. That certainly came to my mind, that Bible scripture that talks about that. That Satan goes about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, using other people, using people to carry out his bidding, what he wants to accomplish. Now, some people would say, well, all he had to do was stop, because those are the excuses we hear. All he had to do was stop when they approached him. And so I would ask a jogger of another race, if you were jogging through a black neighborhood and two black guys asked you to stop and they had weapons and they were pursuing you in a vehicle, would you stop? Or would you feel that that's the right thing to do? Or would you feel that you have to obey these two black men and stop and listen at their questioning of you? I'm just curious, because this kind of stuff has been going on for so long that these stories no longer shock nor surprise us. But when you've had so many of these happen and you keep getting the same response, you say to yourself, what's wrong with people to where they're going to keep on victimizing the victim and claiming that they were doing whatever in self-defense? When this man was jogging, nothing in his hands, just running, doing what other people do, probably jogging because he was tired of being up in the house because of the social distancing, wanted to get some air, jogging through the neighborhood, and that was suspicious enough for you to do what you did. Now, of course, the line that they always put out there is that you fit the description, or we've had a string of burglaries, and so we just wanted to check and make sure that you weren't the suspect. So you all get to make that choice or that decision on who's suspect or not. If you believe in the law of reaping and sowing, then you've got to know that that time is upon you. The world calls it karma, but the Bible calls it reaping what you have sown. That's what the Bible calls it. I thought it very interesting, too, that Joe Biden sticks his nose into this, want to pretend like he cares. He wants to pretend like he cares because he's going in for the kill, for the black vote. I got to pretend like I care about this case so that I can woo some black voters to this side of the fence. But guess what? Some of us are in on the games that are being played, the mind manipulation, all of this stuff. We are hip to it. As a matter of fact, a lot of us are hip to it. And guess what? We are also tired of seeing stories like this where our people can't even jog or walk or speak or run or talk or drink iced tea or eat some Skittles or anything, or even defend yourself. We can't do anything without some type of backlash. What does that say about those who are doing this, who are victimizing? What does that say? Are you unhinged? Are you stable? Do you have all of your mental capacity? Are you spiritually dead? Now, I thought I wanted to talk about another incident separately. I'm not sure if I do or not, so I'm going to mention it right here in this video. The case in Flint of the security guard. That case really disgusted me as well, because not only do we have these two people who pursued this young man, Aubry, who was jogging, but you have these people in Flint, black people, who took the life of a security guard who was doing his job. He just asked you to put the cotton picking mask on, and that was just too much for you. Man doing his job, but you decided to end his life over some mess like that because he told you to put a mask on. And the thing that is even more disturbing about this, and I mentioned this when I responded to someone who had posted this story on Facebook, I said it's highly doubtful that those men would have taken the life of a security guard who was of another race. They would have just went on about their business. But someone who looks like you low down, rotten, dirty scoundrel, no different than the low down, rotten, dirty scoundrels who pursued Aubry. took another man's life over something like that. Something so simple. It's like our people are getting it from every end. You're getting it from outsiders and insiders. This is utterly ridiculous. But it all goes back to what was prophesied. I have to bring it back home by telling you what the word says. All of this were prophesied. All of these things were prophesied. The Bible said our possessors would slay us and find themselves not guilty. Meaning that the people of these lands that we were once held captive would slay our people and find themselves not guilty. And then it also talked about how our own brethren, our own people would have an evil eye one against another. Husband against wife, wife against husband, children against parents, parents against children. So from every direction we are getting it. But at some point something will give. And that is when divine intervention will take hold and justice will be rendered all around. Rest in peace, Ahmad. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.